Good. So, since I know all of you, I know that you have practiced Yin Yoga with me before. I don't think I need to go really more into explaining Yin Yoga. What I can share with you again is what it means to me and why I love this practice. And it's because I'm a very flowy person. I like to move, I like to dance, and I like to do vinyasa. And to me, doing Yin has always been challenging in the beginning because I was never really a person that would choose stillness or to be still or not to move, because movement is usually what helps me to get out of my head. And the beauty with Yin then is that I've really noticed, especially now in this situation, how the practice of Yin has really taught me much more to come into a place of being comfortable with stillness, being comfortable also with just being, not doing anything, and being comfortable with just listening. And it helps probably that I'm in such a beautiful place in nature. And I hope you get to enjoy some of the sounds of the birds and crickets with me here today too. There's a beautiful quote that I want to share with you. I've probably shared it already with you before, but this is such a beautiful reminder and fits to me so well with the practice of Yin Yoga. And it's called Walk Slowly. So maybe close your eyes. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still, and just like that, something in me settles, softens, makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to a whisper, and I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we will all cross the finish line, and that waking up to life is what we were born for. As many times as I forget, catch myself charging forward without even knowing where I'm going, that many times I can make the choice to stop, to breathe and be, and walk slowly into the mystery. So keeping your eyes closed here. Just really take the next couple of moments to drop into your stillness and see what that means for you. Does that mean stillness more? Do you need it more in your body, or does your body feel already really still, but your mind is still racing? Can you really consciously make an effort to become still and to just be with that stillness? And to me, what helps me is always to scan my body. So starting from my head, I really consciously release the wrinkles of my forehead. I let my eyes fall back into the sockets. I try to soften the cheeks and any hold in my jaw, in my mouth. Completely softening my tongue. And I'm feeling like the head is floating just above the neck. So maybe even letting it bounce a little bit. Which feels nice, so that there's no tension in the neck. And then you can roll up the shoulders towards your ears and take them back and let the shoulder blades melt down. And just soften your upper body. Now what feels nice too is as if you let your shoulders sink at the same time. Imagine somebody still reaching you up towards the sky from the crown of your head, and then every exhale the shoulders melt, but the neck gets longer because you're still being pulled up on a little string towards the sky, feeling that spaciousness. And softening into the heart space, I recommend placing your left hand for a moment onto your heart space, to connect to your heartbeat and to just see what's going on for you today. What's present in your heart right now? And think of stillness and releasing and softening. And then release your left hand back onto your thigh or your knee. Keep scanning your body now, softening your ribs, the area around your diaphragm, solar plexus. And also feeling into your back body. So not only the space between the shoulder blades, but also your middle back kind of softens. And then softening your belly. Maybe for a moment, placing your right hand onto your belly and just feeling the warmth of your hands sinking into your body. And just feel. And then release your right hand back onto your thigh or your knee and very gently rock a little bit back and forth. And just to feel supported. Listen to the birds. And then sit completely still. And lift the corners of your mouth into a little smile and notice how that also softens. Kind of like it melts your edges a little bit. Invite your sweetest, softest breath. And then take both hands together in front of your heart and rub them together. Create a little bit of heat. And then place them anywhere in your body where you feel you need a little extra love today, a little extra warmth. And just breathe into them. Good, and then slowly release your hands and bring them back together in front of your heart. And I always love to start with the sound of Om. I think yoga is very much the practice of rituals, and like rituals help to create your own space and to create a little bubble around your practice. So please join me if you like for a very soft sound of Om, a yin sound of Om. Nice big breath. And then very slowly open your eyes and release your hands. Good. And then straighten your legs, shake them out. I'm gonna move back a little bit. Oh, and I'm gonna adjust the computer as well so you can see my mat. Good. And if you like, feel free to sit on a pillow or a blanket, which is something I like to do, and just straighten your legs and shake them out. Maybe even if they feel a little tight, it's nice to use your hands to kind of wake them up after sitting. Good. And I will come into the first pose by opening the legs even wider. I'll move here. Hello, sweetie. Here comes Shivani. So again, it might be really nice to have something underneath your sit bones. Remember, we're not engaging muscles, so you can just let your legs fall out to the side. And our first pose is Strata Pose. So as you lean forward, you don't want to be completely round, but don't worry if your back is a little bit round. And then use your blocks or props to support your head. This is one variation. And you can just let the arms rest onto your legs or on the floor, inside, whatever feels good. Another variation, which I always like to do is to bring your elbows onto the block and to place your chin into your elbows. Some of you maybe can come all the way forward. So just see what works for you. And if you feel really stiff here, you could also go against the wall and bring your legs up against the wall, nice and wide, like a V shape. So 4 options. We say in Yin Yoga, we use the first minute or so to find your edge. And what is your edge? Your edge is the point before it starts to be really painful. So you don't want to be somewhere where you don't feel any sensation, but you also don't want to be pushing it too much. So take these moments to find your edge. I'll have a timer, so close your eyes and then use your breath to take you deeper into your pose. This is a beautiful pose for me to start. Targeted areas are the inner thighs. So just feel maybe how energy is moving along the inner thighs from the inner ankle to the groin. This feels really, really good. And with the eyes closed, remember to relax your feet completely. Use your breath to go deeper. Strata Pose. So when we do Yin Yoga, we work with the fascia, and there are several layers. The skin is the first fascial layer. The second layer is the fat, the superficial. And then the third is the deep tissue, the deep fascia. And that fascia is thick and strong. And the fourth layer is our muscles, and they would fall apart, or that layer would fall apart if the fascia wouldn't hold it together. So what actually gets tight in your body is not so much the muscles, but it's the fascia holding everything together. You can also think of the fascia as holding together all your organs. And if you can imagine, so once the fascia starts to shrink and to dry up, everything gets so much more tight. And so this beautiful practice of yin just really helps to expand our range of motion. You can imagine between those sheets or those layers is water so that those layers can slide, but with time they get dry and sticky, and that inhibits movement. So we are doing these practices to remain or to keep the integrity of this whole system. To me, sometimes when I visualize this, it's nice to visualize how all this stuff, let's call it that, just melts inside of me. So there's a softness, a sense of surrender, of melting into the poses. And the tool to get you to melt a little bit more is your breathing. So if you pay attention to anything today, really, really pay attention to breathing deeply and make the exhalation really long, because it's the exhalation also that signals the nervous system that it's time to slow down, to relax, and that is deeply nourishing. And we have about 1 more minute to go here. Also remember at any time you can exhale through the mouth, which always helps me a lot to soften and really melt a little bit deeper. And then take your last 3 breaths here. And then with your 3rd breath, slowly find your way back up. Now, if you were against the wall, find your way back onto the mat. And stay with your legs wide open. And now we're gonna add the sides to it. So now turn towards your your left leg. If you want, you can also bring the right foot in if this feels more comfortable. You could also even bring the right knee back a little bit. And we want to turn towards the left leg. And then again, use your prop. This one we're going to hold for 3 minutes. So use your props if you want to place your head. You could also use 2 blocks and place them on the sides. And make sure the foot is falling wherever it wants to go. And breathe here, and there's a gentle twisting over to the left side, towards your left leg. You'll feel this in the right side body. And you're welcome to stay here. Supporting the head is always a good idea. And those of you who want to go a little bit more deep, you could also bring your elbow down and then add a little bit from the side, and you could bring your right arm up and then stretch it, or actually let it fall over your head. Only if this feels okay in the right side body and also in the left. So notice if you keep holding the shoulder up and let it go. Just breathe. And again, if this feels too much, or if your arm starts tingling or falls asleep, then just stay with the previous variation. And we have 1 more minute here. And my idea for today, since last time I've been reading from the book, today I really wanted to give you more stillness and more space to just be with your own sensations, your own thoughts. It's always a little easier to listen to somebody read something or to music, and it's still a different feeling when we're just with our own thoughts and sensations. So that's my idea for today. 30 more seconds, really breathing deeply. Good. And then take your last big breath in, and very slowly. So remember also to make the transitions very mindful. Come out. If you bend the right knee, straighten the leg. And once again, move the leg. And then in your own time, switch it over to the right leg. And if you want, you can bend the left knee or keep the left leg straight. And take your time to find your way into the pose on the right side. And it might feel completely different here. Okay, and D, just for you to know, Fiona is in. There's something rubbing at the mic. No, the mics are in my ear. I hope the sound is okay. I don't know what it could be. I hope it's better now. I'll try to make sure that nothing rubs on my microphone. So folding over the right leg. And again, softening the face, breathing. And if you want to go into the deeper variation, feel free to bring your arm inside and you can place it on a block too. And to maybe bring your left arm over your head and just let it rest on your head. So breathing into the left side of your body, you feel it also a little bit on the left side of the lower back. So visualize, close the eyes, visualize those layers and how your breath creates space, nourishment, makes those layers juicy again. And if it's too much and your arm falls asleep, then just come back to a previous variation. Thirty more seconds here. And again, feel how every breath is an invitation to let go a little bit more. Good. And then from here, slowly find your way back up. Lean over a little bit to the right to stretch out the left leg and take the props out. And then just place your hands behind and bend the knees and just swing your legs a little bit side to side. Good. All right. Now come to lie on your left side. I haven't done this one in a while, I think. And you're going to place your head into your left elbow comfortably. And you're going to bring your right leg in front. And with your right hand, grab your left foot. So grab the top of the foot or the ankle and start to move your left thigh back as much as you can until you feel a stretch on top of your left thigh. This is where you want to feel the stretch. This is the area that we're targeting. So left quads, front of the thigh, and then your right leg. So the knee could be bent, the leg could be straight. Those are options. And you could also, if you wanted to add a twist for your spine, lie back. Well, if that is too much for you, then just come back onto the side and keep moving the left thigh back if you don't feel any stretch. This is called cat pulling its tail. The front of the thigh is where we have the stomach and spleen meridians. So these are nourished with this pose. Eyes closed. Breathe. And really bring your awareness into those body parts we're working with. And you can think of the Chinese meridians, or what I always like to do is really think of the nadis. So this is a system I find very fascinating and amazing. It's said that we have 72,000 little energy channels in the body. And of course, sometimes energy gets stuck, and we're really doing the yoga to get energy moving. And after a good yoga class, when you lie down and you feel really how like your whole body is pulsating and vibrating, it always makes me feel and think of those 72,000 nadis. And we have about 1 more minute here to go. So keep breathing. Good. Last 30 seconds. And then to come out of the pose, just simply with your next exhale, release your foot and just roll over onto your belly. And take a moment here, just resting your forehead onto the floor or onto your hands, and feeling the difference between the left and the right thigh. And just breathing into your back, into your belly. And when you feel ready for the other side, you just roll over onto your right side and you place your head into your hand. Your left left leg comes forward. With your left hand, you grab your right foot or ankle and you start sliding your right thigh back to the point where you feel a really nice stretch along the front of your right thigh, stomach and spleen meridian. And then you decide how you want to go into the pose. If you want to stay here, if you want to maybe bend the top leg, or if you want to lie back to add a little twist in your spine. And whatever you choose, keep your eyes closed, breathe, and just enjoy stillness. So remember that we always want to stay or move within our ranges of motion, and that we never want to force anything in yin. So this can sometimes be a little funky pose. It's not really a comfortable pose, but then again, yin yoga is not really aimed to be comfortable. So that's the difference between yin yoga and restorative yoga. Restorative is all about making you comfortable. And yin yoga is more about working with your edges and being comfortable also with whatever comes up and allowing all of that to just move through you. So we're watching for sensations, we're watching for resistance. And we're learning that we don't have to respond to everything that comes up, every impulse or resistance. 30 more seconds here on this side. Maybe a nice big breath in and exhale through the mouth. Good. And then with your next big breath, slowly release the foot. And once again, come to lie on your belly, just resting your head onto your hands. And now feeling if your legs feel a little bit more balanced. Just feeling the release on the front of your thighs. And we stay with the stomach and spleen meridian, and from here slowly move into Sphinx Pose. The meridian runs now from the front of the legs in two lines also along the front of the belly and the chest. So Sphinx Pose, you might feel not only a mild compression in your back, you might also feel the stretch along the front of your body. And you can try Sphinx with your elbows underneath your shoulders. If this feels too much, please feel free to walk your elbows further, or to use maybe even a block or a pillow for support underneath your ribs. This feels really, really nice. And close the eyes and just make sure that you are completely relaxing your buttocks and your legs so they fall out to the side. You're not holding, and you also really let your heart melt, even if it might feel a little weird to let your chest hang between your shoulders. Close the eyes, gaze forward, not too high, not too low, and enjoy Sphinx Pose. Now, those of you who might feel that they would like to go deeper, you could also take it now into seal pose, bringing your hands wider than your mat and straightening your arms. It looks like this. But again, if this is too intense, too much, you're absolutely very welcome to stay in your Sphinx pose. And so this is another gift of this practice, how it encourages us to explore, to try something new, to go deeper, but then also to honor our limits, our boundaries, and to back off if we need to. And so if it's something we practice more often on the mat, it's probably going to make us feel much more comfortable also in life to honor our boundaries and to step back if something doesn't feel right. So in that sense, I always see the yoga practice on the mat really as an inspiration for our daily life off the mat. And so often the same type of resistance shows up in my practice and on and off my mat. 30 more seconds here. And then take a nice big breath in, exhale through the mouth. And slowly, slowly come down and rest your forehead onto your hands. And resist the urge of moving your body to kind of adjust from the stretch. Rather, just stick to the sensation you might feel in your lower back and fill it with your breath. An important part of the practice really to transition between the poses and to allow there to be emptiness, not to fill every moment, every space with doing something. Now from here, slide your hands next to your chest, tuck your toes and push back onto your hands and knees. Shoulders are above your wrists, knees underneath your hips, toes tucked, and as you inhale, arch your back. As you exhale, now draw the belly in and round your back. And once again, inhaling, arching, exhaling to round and stretch out. Now we'll take it into a little flow, inhaling, arching, exhaling to round, soft elbows, sit back onto the heel. Inhale to come back up, arching. And exhaling once again, soft elbows, sitting back. Last time, inhale to come up. This time, bring your feet flat and your knees as wide as you can. Exhale, sit back into child's pose and let your arms rest next to your body. Really let your belly melt between your thighs. And take a couple of big breaths into your lower back. And I want to add a little arm stretch here, which feels nice also after being on the computer. So you can stretch your left arm forward now. Bring your right arm underneath your left arm and let your shoulder melt towards the floor inside of your right knee. So for some of you, the shoulder might come to the floor. For some of you, the shoulder might be up here. Don't worry about the shoulder coming to the floor. Just rather walk your left fingertips more forward now until you feel a nice stretch in the right upper arm, shoulder. And really let gravity do the job of melting and stretching your right arm, breathing deeply here. So if you don't feel anything, just walk your left fingertips more forward. This will make it a little bit more intense. Let's take 3 more breaths here. This is also a transition pose. Good, and then press into your left hand to slowly slide your right arm out. Bring your right arm forward, and then slide your left arm underneath. And again, let your shoulder rest on the floor if it goes to the floor, or just keep it reaching towards the floor. It really doesn't make a difference. And then walk your right fingertips more forward so that you can feel the stretch in the outer upper left arm and shoulder. Breathing deeply here. Good. And then take a couple more breaths here. And press into your right hand to slowly come back up. And we do one more stretch here for the arms. So if you have blocks, this would be lovely. Stay in your child's pose. You bring your blocks in front. Could be anything else, books, something to lift your arms higher. And you're going to keep your elbows on the block. And then you're going to bring your forehead down to the floor. And like this, you let your heart melt. And this is a really nice stretch for the shoulders and the chest. Forehead comes to the floor, arms stay on the block. And you feel your armpits and the chest, the heart are melting down towards the floor. This one we'll do for about 2 minutes. All right. And then from here, when you are ready, slowly release. Oops. Sorry about that. And come back up onto your hands and knees. And spread your fingers and find your way into downward facing dog. Stretch out your legs. So just looked on my computers if I lost you, but now I'm back. So if I lost you, I hope you just stayed in the pose. From here now, lift your right leg up into the sky and shake it out. And then bring your right knee to the outside of the right wrist. And then come into the swan. And we'll start by bringing the fingertips next to the mat and to lengthen and to straighten the front body. Now, remember, we're not engaging muscles, so this is not pigeon pose. If your body wants to fall to the right, it's okay here. Also, you could totally take a pillow underneath. If you have any issues with your knees, then please wait for me to show you the alternative. Those of you okay here, press down into the fingertips. It's the same again, a stomach, spleen lines along the front of the body. When you're ready, fold forward and just rest your head onto blocks, pillows, or just your arms, whatever feels comfortable for the sleeping swan. Those of you needing to modify, you come to lie on your back and you bring your right foot over your left knee. You slide your hands through across the front of your left shin. And then you pull the left knee towards you and the right knee kind of moves away from you. And you can intensify this stretch by rolling a little bit more over to the left cheek so that you feel the stretch in the right cheek. And then breathe into this beautiful stretch. I also really like to do it on my back. It's a really nice stretch. So breathing deeply here. This is probably the most challenging pose for today. I know pigeon can be intense physically, emotionally. Remember, we're cultivating a sense of allowing, receiving, listening, and just remaining still. And always remember, you are achieving the best that you can within your range of motion. And the posture is so much more than just a physical practice or physical event. The physical sensation is just one part of this practice. So remember that again and again. And the swan we hold for 5 minutes and we have 3 more minutes to go. So really, dive deep with your breath. And for the sleeping swan, really all lines, all meridians benefit of this pose. There's not really one area where we focus. So maybe again, think of this image of 72,000 nadis being nourished and energy gets unblocked and flows, giving you a sense of vibrancy. A little over a minute left. Nice exhale through the mouth is always a good idea. Last 30 seconds. Find your biggest breath. Good. And then with your next inhale, very slowly push into your hands, walk your hands back. Slide your right foot back. Find your way back into a downward facing dog. And lift the right leg up and shake it out. Maybe make circles, anything that feels good on the leg. And then place the right foot down. And for a moment, just feel the difference between right and left leg, especially thigh and groin and hip. And when you feel ready for the other side, float your left leg up into the sky, shake it out. And then bring your left knee outside of your left wrist. And tuck your right toes under. And we're coming into the seated swan. Good. Kind of make sure that you're not engaging. Maybe use pillows, blankets, whatever you need. And then look forward. Find the length. And then from here, slowly come into the sleeping swan. And if you're doing the modification on your back, you've switched legs by now. Your left knee is over the right knee. Left foot is over the right knee. And in order to intensify the pose, you would roll a little bit more to the right cheek to intensify the stretch in the left cheek. Notice when your mind starts traveling and where it goes, and can you stay present? About 3 minutes to go here. Really allowed to sink deeper. And again, watching your thoughts. I always like the image of clouds in the sky. And you know, when you watch these clouds and they're just floating by, and think of your thoughts like clouds in the sky. And you're just watching them. 1 more minute to go about. Exhaling through the mouth is a beautiful idea. Even the humming breath where you are exhaling, making the humming sound is also a really nice one in this pose. 30 seconds. Last 3 breaths, big ones. And then in your own time, press into your hands to find your way back up. And slide your left foot back. Placing your hands, come into downward facing dog. If you are lying on your back and you did the modification, then just keep hugging both knees into the chest. Down dog, people lift your left leg up and shake it out. Make any movement that feels good. And then release the left foot. Take a moment here to feel the changes in your legs, in your groins, your hips maybe. And then look towards your hands and walk your feet forward. And then everybody come into a little squat. And oops, you are welcome. If you can't do a squat, place your block and just do it sitting on the block. It's totally fine. What I like you to do is to walk your hands forward so you feel this nice release with or without a block. And just hang here for a moment and breathe deeply into your belly, into your hips. And then come to sit. And now take your props. So I recommend doing it like this. Placing one block like this, one like this. And if you do have a blanket, it's really nice here to roll it up. And then you can place it along on the blocks. But again, it doesn't need to be this high. It can be any way. I don't know what props you have available. And then you go really close with your lower back onto this little roll you're making and you lie back. So you see, I'm like super supported here. Feels really nice. And then I can bring the soles of my feet together and let the knees fall out to the side and drape my shoulder blades around this blanket. The head should be the highest points. It should be above, so it feels good if there's like a nice line of energy. And then you can close the eyes, palms facing up, let the shoulders relax, and breathe deeply all the way up into the chest. If you need support underneath your thighs, put pillows or something, books underneath your thighs. If it feels not good at all, you can also do this, of course, with your legs straight and just letting the feet fall out to the side. So main idea here really is to get this nice release and opening in the chest. And it will be even more so if you breathe deeply and really feel that the breath goes into every little corner of your upper body, to all the boundaries of your body. Face soft, just breathe. So when we do Yin Yoga, we want to create balance and a sense of acceptance, and like we talked in some of the classes before, not making our happiness depend on outer circumstances. And we can be happy with things just as they are, and the world does not need to change for us to be happy. And sometimes it's us actually that maybe needs to make a little adjustment or realign certain aspects. And this is also what the yoga teaches us. It's always the process of curiosity, exploring, self-inquiry, and then realigning ourselves. And until we come to a place of peace or to feel balanced, it's very hard for us to feel compassion or kindness or love for others and even for ourselves. So a beautiful way to practice in our Yin Yoga. We'll have another minute here. Something in my eye. Please fill it with your deepest, deepest, deepest breath. And then take your last 3 breaths here, make them your biggest breaths. Really feel that expansion again into every little corner of your body. And after your 3rd breath, slowly release. First, bring the knees back together if they were open, and bring the feet a little wider, let the knees fall together. And then roll over onto your left side, your Yin side, and take all the props out of your way so that you can come back to lie on your back. And if you come to lie on your back for a moment, take the knees to your chest and just rock a little bit back and forth. You're giving a little massage to your spine. Take your hands on top of the knees and just move the knees a little bit away from each other. And then switch direction and move the knees towards each other. Good. And then keep the knees hugged in. Take your arms out to the side. Inhale as you exhale. Bring your legs over to the right and turn your head to the left. So we're just doing it for a couple of nice deep breaths to neutralize the spine. So breathing deeply into the lower back kidneys. I always feel like time flies so much when we do Yin. I could do this forever. And then with your next inhale, bring the knees back up. Let the knees fall over right away to the left and turn your head to the right. Taking a couple of nice deep breaths into the lower back, kidneys. Remember to soften the shoulder and the face. And then inhale, coming back to the middle. Find your way into Shavasana, and if you like, it might be nice to have a blanket underneath your knees. And to just lie back comfortably. If there's anything you feel you need to do before lying in Shavasana, then please feel free to do so. To check the time. Good, and then take a nice big breath in. Exhale through the mouth. And relax your whole body. Your whole body is relaxed. Your whole body is deeply relaxed. Slowly begin to deepen your breathing. Very gently move your fingers, move your toes. Stretch your arms over your head for a good long stretch. Keep the eyes closed. Slowly bring the knees back into your chest. Just hug them in for a moment. Ever so softly rock side to side. Just slowly waking up. And then roll over onto your left side, your yin side, and stay here. No rush, just breathing. And then in your own time, when you feel ready, find your way back up into a nice comfortable seat, keeping the eyes closed. And just remaining completely still. Once again, just checking your body, noticing the effects of your practice and what may have shifted, opened, released. And a deep sense of nourishment, maybe. And maybe a deep sense of vibrancy, of energy flowing through you. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still, and just like that, something in me settles, softens, makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to whisper. And I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we will all cross the finish line, that waking up to life is what we were born for. As many times as I forget, catch myself charging forward without even knowing where I'm going, that many times I can make the choice to stop, to breathe and be, and walk slowly into the mystery. So to me, Yin Yoga is every time a little walk into the mystery of really being alive and all the work our body does without us even usually thinking about it. Just embracing and celebrating that mystery. To me, that's the practice of yoga. So take your hands together in front of your heart for a moment of gratitude to yourself for showing up on your mat today, giving yourself the gift of this nourishment, this practice. And let's close and seal with one soft sound of Om. Nice big breath. Thank you for your dedication and showing up today. Such a pleasure being here with you and sharing this space. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much.